Thank you very much, Deputy President, and I thank Senator Smith for raising this very, very important issue, particularly on this day, which is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Family, sexual and domestic violence cannot be condoned or tolerated, and our government is absolutely committed to doing all we can to try and eliminate family and domestic violence from our nation. However, it is everyone's business. We must remember that we need to educate our young people so that they understand what coercive control, what domestic violence is, and so that they, from a very young age, know how to see it, know how to call it out, and know how to stop it. Our government has provided funding. Contrary to what Senator Smith was saying, our government has delivered a landmark $3.4 billion women's budget statement in the 2021-22 budget. This had a record $2 billion investment for women's security initiatives since 2013, which includes $1.1 billion in the latest women's budget statement. We've held summits, a national summit on women's safety, and we are currently developing the next national plan to end violence against women and children. And that includes investing $22.4 million over 5 years to establish a Domestic, Family and Sexual Violence Commission. Now, as I've said before, this commission does not absolve anyone else of responsibility in this issue, but it does establish a single point, a commission that can work with all governments, all community groups, to provide a crucial accountability mechanism to make sure that our collective efforts are focused on ending violence. Because Senator Smith referred to the Labor Party's commitment for 500 new frontline workers. And while that sounds commendable on the surface, you have to be concerned about where the funding for that is coming from. Will they be withdrawing the funding from the existing billion-dollar investment that the Morrison government has made to work with the states, to work with the territories for domestic and family violence responses? We are working with them, and we are funding through a national partnership agreement, because that way it ensures that our response is targeted, fit for purpose and meets local needs, which differ across the country. And people here have highlighted, quite rightly, that the response in our remote and regional and Indigenous communities is going to be different to the response that is rolled out in Sydney or Canberra. So rather than, our government's approach is, rather than Canberra dictating, like the Labor Party will, here's 500 new workers and we'll employ them, we'll put them in our offices, our government's approach is, rather than Canberra dictating how money must be spent, we are providing flexibility to those with the knowledge on the ground to allow additional support to span frontline services, to provide safe accommodation where needed, to provide perpetrator interventions and helplines and counselling services and training, because that is how we will help eliminate violence against women in this country. The support services that are needed, the training, early education, for all of our community, so that we can all work together to end the scourge of domestic violence. Because across Australia, I would say that every single Australian knows someone who has been a victim of some form of family and domestic violence, but it is still not spoken about, and there are still many victims of domestic violence who do not speak about it, who do not come forward. And we need to support those people, wrap our arms around them and say that we are here for them. We are listening for them, and our government is committed to providing that support. Thank you.
Authorised by Perrin Davey, The Nationals, Danila Quinn.